Lian's Corner. And so today we are kicking off an episode 3 of season 4, study journey like pursuing dreams and building future. So today we have a special guest that who is the founder of the Sanity Daily and the Therapeutic blog. And yeah, so hi, welcome to Lian's Corner today. And so could you please introduce a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi both. Thank you so much for inviting me. So I'm Priyanka. I'm based in Scotland. I'm a wellness entrepreneur and founder of Sanity Daily mental health blog and a podcast, which has over like 30,000 readers and listeners monthly from worldwide. And I started it in 2019. So at present, I'm pursuing a full-time research at Glasgow, one of the universities in Glasgow. And my core aim is working towards women's wellness, overall well being, and empowerment.
Yeah, that's really amazing. So for now, we are moving on to part one. The warm-up session, motivation for learning and creating. So I know that you are the founder of the Sanity Daily. So at what point did you discover that knowledge, understanding, conducting research, or producing content on mental health was something genuinely fulfilling for you?
So I'm totally from a different background. I'm an MBA in finance like 10, 12 years ago. And when I started that this blog, I had zero idea about psychology, mental health, and didn't even know that I have to research my article. So it started when you asked me how it started. So it started because I was having those kind of feelings for the first time in my life. And I used to write a lot from school days, and writing helped me. Writing down my anxious thoughts and what is making me feel sad, or why am I feeling these feelings. And I realized no one talks about this. And then I realized that, okay, I think I can start writing about it online. And I created a blog. So it just started as a, coping mechanism or just something to vent out and using the power of pen. Like people say, a pen is mightier than sword. Words have power. So I thought, why not use it for some good cause? And I started writing, and people started connecting. And there were so many people out there who wanted to share, who wanted to listen, and wanted to be heard. So that's where I started writing. But then I realized I cannot just write things because I feel it has to come from a place. That's where research came in place. I started reading books, I started reading online journals, good research done by philosophers, psychologists to have a backup for what I'm saying on my blog. Who am I to say this? Why am I saying this? And why should you listen to me? So that it was very important. So that's where I understood the essence of credibility, trustworthiness, that whatever am I writing and whatever content I'm creating on my blog should have some credibility and honesty for you to believe me if I'm saying that this will work for you. Who says that? Research says that, study has proven that, so it might help you. So that's where the importance of research and study came in my life.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Like it can motivate you to start uh
Mm.
producing some meaningful content for helping the whole community. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, the second question is Lily. She will ask.
Yes. Can you share a surprising or particularly meaningful experience you encountered during your public health studies or while working on your own creative initially?
Okay, so I never thought, like I said, I never thought I'll be a mental health blogger or a podcaster. So it was like first time I joined a women-led community, Sheroes, and that's where someone reached out to me that they would want to write about my story, that what led to me speaking about mental health. Because I think back in 2016, 2017, people were not talking about mental health online that much, and blogging and Instagram, it was still new. After COVID, everyone is a content creator, everyone is a blogger. But before that, it was not that much into popularity. It was just gaining popularity. So my someone reached out to me because they saw it as a cause that from being an MBA, a corporate education administrative person, Why did you choose to write about mental health? So that helped me realize that I have unknowingly picked up a cause. I've just not picked up a hobby or a niche. Okay, I'll write about mental health. No, I have picked up a cause and people were taking it seriously. They wanted more. They wanted to hear stories. They wanted to read more and they wanted to feel kind of validated. Okay, this happens. This happens to me. This happens to her. So I'm not alone. So there came a responsibility. So whatever I was writing, whatever I was like creating, I was always trying to be mindful and still am, to use the proper language to make people feel inclusive and not sound preachy. Like I'm asking you to do this, do this. No, I'm doing this. And if this works for you, give it a try. So I've tried and it has helped me so much to work on myself as a person. So yeah, that's something I can say and share that has covered this kind of a journey.
Yeah, that's an inspirational story. Yeah. So for now, we are moving on to part two, building a mental health podcast or blog. So, what core message do you have to deliver through producing mental health podcasts or blogs to the larger audience in the
Mhm.
world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So both my blog and podcast are named and called as Sanity Daily. So when I started writing, I was following a niche, just overall niche as mental health. Then I realized I could focus on women, young adults. So most of my blogs are kind of obviously around self improvement, mental health awareness, and ways you can take care of your mental health. And again, they are like researched, well known ways, not just repetitive ways. But for podcasts particularly, I started following a pattern or kind of a theme here. I started inviting people to share their stories. Like even the research I'm doing right now, the topic of my research study is empowering women through entrepreneurship as a pathway in the UK in marginalized communities. So I started inviting women in UK who are like female founders in the initial stage of their business to share their struggles, what were the challenges when they started their businesses, and what is the lack of funding or opportunity they came across, and how they're still going, and how they are managing everything with a child, with household duties, and also trying to make identity for themselves. So that's when the podcast gained momentum. People started listening more, connecting more, because I did, I think, 10 recordings of that, like 10 episodes of inviting founders and share their stories. So that helped, always kind of having a niche and a right structure to what you are trying to produce helps, also gives you an identity showing what you stand for.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So it seems like you are really passionate and optimistic about making something meaningful to help the people to overcome their mental health problems. That's really
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah. So Lily,
thank
it's your turn.
Yes. So doing podcasts teach you a lot just by listening to real voices, not textbook. So what's one insight of podcasting has given you about people or mental health that you never learned from formal journey?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Like everyone comes from a different place, different background. Our culture, countries, they have a very important role to play, how we see things, how we understand information. So talking in these different women, men around, the internet, through internet, obviously, digital spaces, but through my blog and podcast especially, it helped me learn so much about them. Sometimes we perceive things differently, but there's no right and wrong thing. That's just the way how we see things. So like I said, it did not only help me create some meaningful and valuable content, but it also helped me to see world differently, from different optics, different lenses, like how people see and how their personal experiences have impact on their livelihood. And every story is different. Like if I interviewed 10 people in my recent series last year, so they came from a different place and their challenges were different, but still they overcame and they are still overcoming. So when we share these stories, I'm sure many of the listeners or some of the listeners do resonate. Okay, I think some similar thing happened with me. And if she can do it, maybe I can do it too. So that has always been my motto through my blogs and my podcast, to just to spread some real kind of motivation in people, because as humans we lack motivation sometimes. Although we might be confident positive person, but life keeps throwing, lemons and curveballs on us, and we sometimes feel low energy, we feel deflated. So we what we need is a real dose or a genuine dose of motivation. So these kind of stories and meeting different people through podcast and blog help me to bring out that authentic self outside.
Yeah, that's just an intriguing viewpoint and an insight that you can gain from interviewing with many people on podcasts. Yeah. So for now, we are moving on to part three, like interviewing and meaningful conversations. So I know that you are um, pursuing PhD. So what
Mhm.
motivated you to pursue that major in socio-economic empowerment researcher and wellness de-influence? So how does information or social media behaviors have an impact on these users?
Okay. So my academic journey has been very interesting. I did MBA in finance and then I did MSc in marketing. And simultaneously, I tried to build my brand, Sanity Daily. So I was living like two lives, a corporate life, a higher education, someone is working there, and side by side, I was building my mental health space called Sanity Daily through podcasts, through blogging, through attending events. And like you said, I've also launched a journal this year. It's a therapeutic journal for mothers, it's a guided journal. So I have been working in these two things, but somehow or the other way, they both kind of intertwined, and I wanted everything to just encapsulate and like a full package. And how do I make it something that wherein I can offer more and it can all be combined? So all my corporate and managerial skills, management skills combined with the cause of well-being and women empowerment. So I always wanted to do a PhD. PhD is a researcher, basically a doctoral researcher. So I always wanted to do it, and I submitted my research proposal last year that this is the gap I see. Women want to be self reliant, they want to be self dependent, but there are not enough opportunities, there are not enough funding, especially for single mothers who are in marginalized, vulnerable communities. They need more support, funding. So, what are the ways that we can empower these women, and overall, it can help in their well being and their child's well being? So they liked the proposal, and I got this offered, this research offered, and I've just started it last month. So the topic exactly is socio-economic empowerment of single moms in UK through entrepreneurship as a pathway. So it is like a 3 4 years of research, and it is a long journey. But what like you asked me, Amy, so what inspired me to do this was to make a real impact. Not only I thought I've written a lot. I've written over 1,200, 1,300 articles. I've produced 55, 60 podcast episodes. So I thought there is a lot of content there. And I want to do something real. I want to get in the field, listen to these women, and see what, as a researcher, what can I bring, the policy changes, what can I bring in the system that can do some actual help, make some actual change here. So that's what drove me to pursue this research.
Oh, wow, that's really amazing viewpoint and motivation for you to start pursuing PhD. To have the women, this is single women. Yeah. So Lily, it's your turn.
I'm really curious about what current social economic issue do you think is the more urgent for a policymaker to pay attention to?
In the field of my research, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
So what I felt, I mean, since I've just started my research, obviously, so the gap identified here was that in UK specifically, because my research is aimed for UK women in marginalized communities. So the women who I see, there is a lot of enthusiasm, and women are aspirational for founding their own small businesses. but they do not have like proper access to the resources, funding, and training. So my whole center objective of the research is to kind of give some contribution to the policymakers, stakeholders like city councils, the local areas, local authorities, to have some changes in the policies and include things which can not only encourage them. Basically, it's like if you have something there, they will feel encouraged and want to go and do it, like training and funding. So you get the funding, but for that you also get the skills. So I want to open a bakery business tomorrow, but I don't know how to do it. I've never done this before. So if I'm a like a 45-year-old woman, I have never worked before, but now I am a widow or a divorcee. I need support. I need to look after my children. And I also be, self-reliant. What do I do now? So that's the thing we are starting from. And it is not a new problem. It has been always there. And also, yeah, government do have, benefits and social responsibility. They do things, but there are women who want to do much more. They want to be confident and self-dependent, but they don't get avenues. So for the avenues, what's the gap? So interviewing these women. So my research will involve interviewing women in person. So these in-depth interviews with women will help me understand the challenges, the real problems they face when they want to get to the system, like what the problem is, what's the real change you want to see here, and what's the thing that you think is lacking. So that's the gap my research is trying to fill.
Yeah, that's such an inspirational research. Like you want to devote something to to make the most significant contribution to the women and to fulfill the gap in the
Yeah.
society. Yeah. So for now, we are moving on to part four, community impact, opportunities, and youth development. So you are pursuing PhD research in the UK. So, and how has your academic journey prepared you for doctoral level research?
How has my academic journey prepared me for my research? Okay. So, being someone from a business school background like management studies, MBA, MSc, so, and obviously, I very much, I won't say I read all the time, but I love to learn. I love to read. I love to have knowledge because I think knowledge is power, which no one can take away from you. So, and this is the best part when you ask me this question, and whoever is listening to this, I would like to say, I wouldn't say that learn everything, but learn things which you are interested in because knowledge is powerful. And sometimes you might feel that this is something I'm learning right now might not be useful, but you never know what can be useful after 5 years or 10 years. I did my MBA 12, 15 years ago, Masters of Business Administration, and I still remember the philosophies, the management things I learned in that while I'm doing my research today, because the research methodology, quantitative method, qualitative method, I studied that time. But now when I'm doing my PhD, so I'm remembering that. So it's a journey, like you said, how it has come to this. So it has been a learning journey, and it's also not only just for the sake of doing it, because you cannot pick up a PhD research just because, oh, I'll do it. No, you have to put your soul in it. You have to put your passion and why you are doing it, because it makes you question every time as a researcher why you are doing it. Why are you doing this podcast? Why are you interviewing me? What's the purpose? So you have to constantly ask that. And that has been like a 15 years of journey coming here and being able to do this and stepping into the academic. And maybe eventually I would like to be a lecturer and teach young students like you entrepreneurship, businesses, management, things like that. So that's the aim here.
Yeah.
That's
So
that aim.
yeah, that's really amazing. And we are young students, so we can learn
No.
something useful advice from you that to understand that whether we should pursue higher education, like we are the final year student. So for now, we are also thinking like whether we should pursue master or PhD higher level. Yeah, after graduation. Yeah, that's really amazing. So for now, we are moving on to part four, giving advice and vision for young creators. So what advice would you give to students who want to start a long-term project like a podcast, mental health initiative, or a project, but don't know how to begin at the first time?
Okay. So first thing I would say, because no one ever told me when I was starting my blog and podcast, don't judge yourself. First thing would be, don't judge yourself. Don't judge your language. English is not my first language. I'm from India. Hindi or my North Indian language is my first language, and English is like second or third language. But we learn. We are able to communicate. So I would get these messages that I want to create my blog and I want to speak, but I don't know good English. And I said, it's okay. Speak anyway. If people like what you are saying, they'll connect with you, and eventually you will improve with practice. Practice makes a man perfect. That's what I believe in. And knowledge is power, like I said. So not anyone let tell you, whoever is listening, you are also like young students. So don't anyone let you, uh, you know, uh, kind of deflate or downgrade you or pull you from doing something because they think that you are not good enough. So that is something I would like you to believe in. So that helped me. I learned, like I said, I'm not from a mental health background at all. I learned, I read books and I watched videos. I followed people who were true, like truly in that field, very much experienced. And I knew that what they are saying is right. I just followed those people. I read a lot. So reading books helped me. So whoever wants to start a blog, become a content creator, I think first step would be for them to identify why are they doing it. Some people might just do it for entertainment. It's fine. They don't have to do a lot of research in that. It's entertainment. It's okay. But if you want to make a change, like you are doing this podcast, bringing out conversations for helping students and young generations, there's a purpose behind it. So well done doing this. So identifying that purpose is the first step. Why am I doing it? And second, who is the audience? Who are you doing this for? Who is going to listen? So you need to know your audience. Will it be women? Will it be youngsters? Will it be men? Or will it be who are the people who wants to listen these stories? And then don't fall for the follower and engagement thing. Just be consistent. Instagram algorithms keep changing all the time. They keep changing all the time, and you cannot just match with that. So just be your real self, authentic, and be consistent with what you are doing. So that helped me. I don't have like a massive following on my social medias because I don't follow a content strategy or like algorithm. I just do me. I just present myself as a real and honest person who has days, who fails, who struggles, but who tries to get up. So people like that. When they see you, you are hardworking and there's honesty in what you are doing. They like it. So that's something, that's the advice. And like I said, don't listen to anyone when they try to tell you that you can't do it. Because if you know that you can do it, you can do it.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
really useful
this.
advice. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
your
yeah,
vision, your point of view
yeah,
in that you can do it everything like without listening to other judgment.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't listen to other people bad
yeah,
judgment
don't.
about yourself. Yeah. Okay, so the final
So,
question.
Mhm.
yeah, so if you could redesign how students learn outside the classroom through digital tool, creating media or communities, what would you prioritize improve first?
I think I am more of a people person. Or maybe I'm an old school. I still prefer meeting people and talking to them. So I'm more of like community driven. So I would like to have something, a weekly meetup, catch up with especially youngsters of your age or women who need skills or guidance to have like workshops or like a coffee and chat. And that's how we make connections. That how what we call as networking. It's not like networking, but that's how we know what you are doing, what I am doing, and how I can help you. It's kind of a knowledge and culture exchange kind of thing. So that would be my priority. And secondly, I aim to open on my website Sanity Daily in near future, maybe a forum portion, a forum wherein people can just leave questions and answers, and I'll answer that. Like you can leave a question and maybe Lily can answer that. Or if I ask a question, maybe Annie can answer that. So make it like a more engaging community. So that's my vision, but I don't know when it's going to happen because things like this takes time. But that's something I am working on right now.
Yeah, that's an amazing point. So yeah, this is the end of the talk show today. So I'm really grateful for your having time and support with us to share your deeper insights and some inspirational story about yourself to have our audience to understand more better about our topic like study journey. Yeah, that's really amazing. So yeah, wait, I have an extra question, like, because now I'm on the final year and I'm conducting a scientific research for BA thesis. So yeah,
Sorry, for
so
research for what did you
BA
say? Your
thesis
voice.
for oh my
Okay, okay.
yeah, BA thesis for graduation, the final year. So I decided the thesis. I determined a particular thesis, but so there are some difficulties like reviewing the literature. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So do you have some tips that I can read from 5 to 10 scientific articles at a time, and then I just take notes some of the main points or key ideas? Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So
kind of
I can
stuff. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
made me
I know,
confused.
and that's a lot. And that's a lot to read and to take which article and then to reference it. So what I do for my academic writing, I don't know what access do you have. Do you use like Sage publication journals, or I don't know what do you use? Where do you find your journals and articles? Is it like university library?
Yes, it just yeah.
Okay. So I prefer obviously from my university library the journals, peer-reviewed journals, and Sage publication published journals. So I just download like maybe 10 4-star, 5-star journals and I read them simultaneously and I try to take out the, statements and paragraphs which kind of back up my research, my area. If I'm saying something like this thing works, but who am I to say? Okay, so Denzin said this in 2018 as per this paper. So when you are doing something, you know exactly that this is your baby, like your child, and you know what exactly this child needs. So just pick up 10, 12 things your child needs, those papers, and I think you can refer them m- multiple times in your paper. I don't know how it is for you there, but I can refer that in my paper if I'm referring one person 2, 3 times, and then it becomes, and also it helps you remember the names of the authors and reviewers. Lily,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like that?
Yeah, that's useful advice. Yeah. So,
All right.
okay, yeah, this is the end of the talk show today.